Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today in the Alien DLC for Dead by Daylight, going for the Kitted Out achievement. This one is going to be done from the Survivor side. It is going to be to pick up 35 special items. Special items are going to be the items with the red checkerboard. Usually they're going to only be available when playing against a specific killer. At the time of making this video, there's going to be 6 killers that provide a special item whenever playing against them. So that's going to be the vaccine whenever playing against the Nemesis. You have the puzzle box whenever playing against the Cenobite, the VHS tapes whenever you're playing against the Onryo. You have the first aid spray whenever playing against the Mastermind. You have the EMP whenever playing against the Singularity. And finally, you're going to have the flamethrower turrets whenever playing against the Xenomorph. Of course, there may be other killers added in the future that may incorporate a special item into their gameplay, so make sure you pay attention for those if you are doing this at a later date. So, with all that out of the way, obviously, whenever playing a game, you're not going to be able to choose who your opponent is going to be, hence, you cannot choose the type of killer you're going to go against. Thankfully, there is going to be a way of working on this achievement at your own agency, and that is to use the only perk that grants you a special item against any killer, and that's going to be one of Leon's perks in the form of the Flashbang. So, make sure you either play as Leon, or if you have leveled him up enough or have the perk available to use elsewhere, make sure you equip it on whatever character you have it available for, and then make sure you take this with you into a game. So, because it's going to be the main method on how we're going to work on most of the achievements, we're going to explain how to use the Flashbang perk first and foremost. So, the perk is going to become available to use after completing a certain percentage of repairs on the generators. So, at the start of any game, what you want to do is you want to make sure you get on to your closest generator right away, and then make sure you start repairing it. As you are repairing the generator, you're going to notice the perk is going to have a meter that shows up on it, and then once you fill that meter, you should have the perk become available to use. The meter is going to fill whenever you are doing any repairs on a generator. Thankfully, the meter is going to be cumulative, so if you ever have to step away from the generator for whatever reason, you can always come back to it. You can also do this across multiple generators, so if you complete a generator or have to abandon one, you can move on to a different one and then continue to fill the perk that way. So any repairs on any generators should start progressing that meter, so do feel free to leave a generator that you are working on if the killer is going to be heading in your direction and work on another one. Nonetheless, once you do fill up that meter, you should get a little sound cue indicating the perk is going to be available to use. To use it, what you want to do is you want to make sure you head over to a locker, then make sure you hide inside, and then you should get this additional option to craft a flashbang. So just hit the A button to craft one, and then as soon as you have it in hand, that should start building progress towards the achievement. Now, even though you can make more of them, unfortunately the achievement is only going to count each type of special item once per match. So what you want to do next is you want to make sure you try to keep an eye out and establish whatever killer you're playing against. If you happen to be playing against one of those aforementioned killers, you want to make sure you try to keep an eye out around the map for their specific type of special item. Make sure you grab it from whatever gimmick they are tied to, and then once you have it in hand, you should also start making progress towards the achievement. Like the flash grenade, however, you are only going to be able to grab one per match that counts for the achievement. So, in most scenarios, you're probably looking at about progressing 2 items per game. You're going to have the flashbang as well as the killer item if you are playing against one of those aforementioned killers. Of course, you are going to have games where you aren't playing against one of those killers. In these games, unfortunately, you're only going to be able to use the flash grenade in order to make progress towards the achievement. So, make sure you do keep that in mind. Thankfully, it is going to be cumulative. It is going to track over multiple games. However, a good chunk of the achievement is going to be up to the killer's player's agency. So make sure you take advantage of what you can control, which is going to be that ability to craft the flash grenade. Now, there is going to be a special situation where you are able to get a bonus special item, and this is going to be whenever you are playing on the map Nostromo Wreckage. So on this specific map, in addition to your regular flash grenade that you can craft, which is going to be the first thing you should do, and that should be your first special item of the game. And if you do happen to be playing against one of those aforementioned killers, you can grab a second special item in the form of whatever item is tied to their gameplay gimmick. In addition to those, you should be able to find a third special item. Around the map, there are going to be these spacesuits sprinkled around, and then on one of these random spacesuits is going to be a random chance of finding something called the key card. The key card is going to be tied to the map's Easter egg room. You can pick these up off of one of these spacesuits, and they will actually count as a special item as they're going to have the red checkerboard around them. So make sure you do look around the map and then look at these spacesuits and then try to loot them for this special key card, and then you can use these to also progress the achievement. Also, like the other special items, you do not have to use the key card in order to progress the achievement, you just have to pick them up. So, in the rare scenario where you are playing in a game that has a killer with a killer item and you are playing on the Nostromo wreckage, you are able to get 3 items done per game. So that pretty much should cover the basics in terms of the 3 types of special items that do count for the achievement. The only red checkered item that is not going to count is going to be the mirror that you are going to be able to get if you're doing one of the glyph challenges. That will not count since technically you cannot pick those up. So with that out of the way, just make sure you keep playing games and eventually you should get to your 35. Hopefully you are getting lucky scenarios where you are playing games against killers who are running killer items or getting a bunch of games on the Nostromo map. Nonetheless, once you get 35 special items across your various games, you should finally be good for the achievement. There it is. It's going to be for 10 gamer score. And that's all there is to it.